To start off with, when I was 18, all I wanted to become was an osteo. Now, there may be a few of you going, osteo, engineer, quite different. I was inspired, or I was encouraged by my parents in particular, to really push myself to think outside the box and think about, well, what do you actually want to get out of a career? I wanted to be an osteo because I'd had a lot of injuries playing netball growing up, which some of you may have experienced, and I simply wanted to help people as others had helped me. But when my parents said, okay, think about something else, I went through careers testing, aptitude testing, spoke to my careers counsellor, and about 2 weeks before preferences were due for university, very close to when it was due, I selected engineering at the University of Melbourne. When I started at university and when I started in the workforce, I was surprised at how few women there were. I had no idea of the numbers in the engineering industry. I believe in Australia it's about 16% of engineering students are female, and about 13% of engineers are female, which is just insane. But for me, I saw this as an opportunity. A lot of people might shy away and go, oh, that's maybe not the industry for me, but I saw it as an opportunity to change, to make a difference. So within my first 6 months of university, I found Robogals. So at the time, I joined the Melbourne group out of the University of Melbourne. For those that haven't heard of Robogals, it's an international not-for-profit organisation that encourages women into engineering. And for me, it served two purposes. First was to increase the number of women studying in engineering by engaging them in interactive workshops. And secondly, it created a diverse group of volunteers that were passionate about making a difference. I was approached by the founder of Robogals to take over her role as the global CEO. Now, at the time, I was 20. I didn't know very much, and I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. But I can say it was an opportunity that I simply knew I couldn't pass up. It was an opportunity to make a difference on a pretty big scale. And as was said in my introduction, I ran the organisation for 4 years. And during that time, we did go through significant growth from 5 countries to 13, 17 cities to 33, and significantly increased the number of girls that we were reaching, which was a huge achievement. Robogals, and the main reason I bring it up is it is a perfect example of one young woman wanting to make a difference. One young woman that said, there's not enough women in my class, let's see what we can do. And now it's grown to what it is today. And the success that has happened is not just the one person. Yes, the one person had the idea, but they needed to work together. Everyone needed to work together. And the strength of any company, organisation is in its staff, it's in its volunteers, it's in the people that make the company. As was also mentioned in my intro, for my work in Robogals, I was recognised in the Queen's Young Leaders Program in 2015. The Queen's Young Leaders Program was set up by Buckingham Palace and Cambridge University to bring together and connect young leaders across the Commonwealth. So through that program, I learnt many, many things, but the biggest thing that I learnt is there are young leaders all across the world that believe that they can make a difference. These are people between the ages of 18 and 30 that are fighting cancer, are fighting AIDS, are fighting rights for women, encouraging women in engineering, to fighting life and death battles. But there's all these people that believe they can make a difference. And the power of programs such as the Queen's Young Leaders Program or the Lean In program, which we have here today, is that we can form connections. All these leaders are making differences in their local communities on their scale, but by connecting together and working together, we can actually make a global shift. I've been able to connect with people who are working to empower women in engineering around the world, and the problems or the challenges we have here in Australia are very similar to those in South Africa, in England, in Canada, in Kenya, in the Philippines. They're all facing similar problems. They're all approaching it in different ways, and by sharing our experiences, we can then learn together, grow together, and make that global impact. But for me, one thing that has been vital the whole time is having positive role models and mentors along the way, both in your personal life and in your professional life. So throughout my career, which as an engineer has been about 2.5 years, I've had some incredible role models and incredible mentors. They've supported my development and my career in every possible aspect. And both of those role models have been men. Now, I say this because it is critical, and there is one male, I think, here tonight. Thank you, Abdul, for coming. It is crucial to involve men in the differences that we're trying to make in our communities and in the changes that we're trying to see, because it can be difficult in today's society for men to be able to navigate through, and we need to support them as much as we support each other to make these changes and see the difference that we want to see. I will say though, since starting at AECOM, I've reported to a female for the very first time in a technical capacity, and I didn't expect to see any difference, but I have. To be able to look up to someone and see a woman in the role that I aspire to hold, and being a part of the women's network that they've created within the office is really empowering, and it shows that I can make a difference, and together we can really change things. And then in a personal sense, I think it's also really important to surround yourself by people who believe in you and people that support what you're trying to achieve. And I think for me, first and foremost, I turn to my family, my mum, who's embarrassed, but I'll point her out. My mum.
Embarrassed, proud, yeah, proud.
Hey, you're embarrassing me. To my family and to my friends, but also to know that there's colleagues that I can turn to if I have questions or if I need some reassurance that it is going to be okay. I think each of us is capable of making that difference. We just have to identify, firstly, what is our passion? What do we want to see change? What difference do we want to make in the world? Seek out and find mentors that can support your development. Identify who you aspire to, who are your role models. And when we identify and bring all these things together, we as women supporting each other, we really can make a difference. So thank you.